At Zana, AI isn't just a vision for tomorrow. It's changing today. And sure, we can ask it to describe things, but today we ask it to do more. Hear more, see more, write more, act more. We've taken our AI underwater, where it listens. It filters through the ambient noise, the constant murmur of marine life, the songs of whales, even the microscopic movements of plankton. It cuts through the background to detect the precise ping of a submarine's sonar or the steady hum of a vessel, ensuring nothing slips past unnoticed for our Department of Defense. Up in the sky, where we are most vulnerable, Turium Zebra sits quietly inside a commercial jet. It spots and stops bad actors, detecting, predicting, and neutralizing cyber threats, even encrypted ones, mid-flight, ensuring safety for all on board. On the ground, in the hands of a soldier, our AI becomes more than a companion. A zebra in the pocket, giving real-time situational awareness, on the move, in the moment, providing a 360-degree view of their surroundings, helping them navigate and stay one step ahead in every challenge they face. We're training AI to see the world as it is and what it could be. Vision AI scans satellite imagery to spot bushfires before they start, predict where they'll spread, and help prevent disasters. But its sight doesn't stop there. It reads documents like we do. From ancient war transcripts to modern-day invoices, Zebra sees it all. In milliseconds, it reads, understands, and processes every form, faster and more accurately than ever. And when it writes, it does so with the world as its canvas, creating documents, generating insights, translating across languages, and coding with ease. All of it powered by Turium. Turium is enterprise intelligence in its truest form. Your CRM, ERP, or any custom-built software, Turium speaks their language. It powers this thing, that thing, and the next big thing. Processing billions of data points daily, transforming operations from the inside out, automating workflows with humans in the loop, making everything it touches smarter, secure, and more insightful. This is Turium AI. This is the future of enterprise intelligence. Please welcome our founder, Dan Saldi.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. And thank you, CPA, and thank you, the traditional landlord custodians. So we've been saying this for a very long time. Every company on the planet wants AI. In the last 12 months, every CFO or every CIO I meet, whether it's a Fortune 500 company or a small business, they think AI is going to be super strategic for the next few years. They think that they're going to win because of AI. That's been the main differential factor, and that's going to be the factor for all organizations, how they leverage AI. It doesn't matter if they're coming from a financial sector, retail, public, or health sector, it's all about AI. Executives, boards, CEOs, all are asking for AI 3.5 more times, or 2.5 to be exact, more times than cloud, and 2.5 more times than digital transformation programs. We identified this very early, and our mission was to democratize AI and build a technology. Over the past maybe 10 years, we've been juggling through different technologies and trying to build a technology which now is ready for an enterprise, which is going to help us to move into from 95% of the hype of AI into the 5% of reality of production, which we are going through right now. And the biggest difference we are trying to fill from 95 to 5% to 100% is going to be because of these problems. And thus, these problems we have identified in a very early on. That first problem which we see is that everyone wants AI. Everyone wants to be on top of their mind. They want to be the leader in AI. It's a food for profile inside the organization who's going to lead AI. And the second biggest problem, which we see what is stopping AI to be embraced, is the security and the privacy concerns. And the third biggest challenge, which we are facing right now, which I'm going to talk a lot about today, is data and application state of today. Our enterprises is very fragmented. And the last one is probably the most important one, which I'm going to talk about now, is the hidden cost of AI. I think this is exactly where, when we usually talk to accountants, that you're not just number crunchers. You are going to be part of a strategic advice to your organization. The hidden cost of AI, we've done a lot of hard work to get these facts from different parts of the global organization. This is an average number of expenditure of an AI in a company of 200 employees. And you can see it needs a lot of attention from finance people. And that is one of the things which, as strategic advice, you guys need to provide as part of the AI initiatives in an organization. The next big problem we face in today's world right now, almost every organization I work with, is that 96% of the tech leaders or CIOs or CFOs think they are not ready for AI because of one big problem, because they don't have the data ready for AI. And every CFO or every CIO I talk, the biggest challenge they say is this one on the screen, that then we have too many applications and we don't know where our data is, and despite that, we don't even know how many instances of these applications we have. And this has been becoming the biggest challenge. Each application has tons of data sitting there from at least last decade, whichever applications you guys are using. We understand this problem and we build a strategic solution and also a semantic layer, an AI semantic layer, which helps organization now. We call it Turium semantic layer. It's an AI semantic layer which pretty much virtually replicates almost every application you guys have in your organization into a virtual data stores. Think of it as almost like a server where you can plug a USB and you can start using the data for your reports and insights. And with that semantic layer helping us, now we can feed that data to AI for real-time search. And I'm going to showcase a little bit of snippet of one of our products, which is pretty much helping us to gather the data from data stores and helping us to predict and also finalize any analytics requirements. So this is your current state. We delved deeper and we understood that the current organizations have biggest challenges when it comes to getting the data for their external statutory reporting or internal management boards reports. And the current way of working, and this is probably on average from some of the wide global companies, including Gartner, that the average time it takes for an organization to build a management or external report, that there is a minimum 2 to 3 days worth of an effort goes to get that data from their traditional applications or even some of the edge applications. Then they gather that data in Excel spreadsheets and upload it to TM1, Power BI, or Tableaus to work around. Then from there are a couple of weeks of work, or at least 1 week of work, and I did that work with a lot of you guys already, is that we analyze that data and we do develop insights and prepare manual commentary on top of those reports. And the collaboration has been a challenge because by the time those data sets come to you, I'm sure that you'll have a question that these are not the number of FTEs I have. That's the future state. That's the AI future state, which is the transformed state. And most of my presentations, I usually talk about transformer models, CNNs and RNNs, but I think my team told me don't go over tech because your audience are not as technical. But I think one of the reasons why I think my personal journey is coming from being an accountant to an AI creator. So I'm pretty sure that one of the takeaways from this session you guys need to understand, and I'll talk about this again, but understand that the disconnect between IT or a tech and the financial people has to stop. I think that has caused a lot of challenges in our day-to-day and providing insights to other organizations, internal organizations, and all the stakeholders inside the organization as well. So in this transformed state, we feed pretty much everything from your traditional legacy applications to modern applications or any ERP systems you guys have into the AI semantic layer. And from that semantic layer, we can real-time feed into our AI applications. What is that semantic layer? How did we build that semantic layer? We worked alongside the world's best data and AI companies to understand how we build the metadata and schema-based analytical models as compared to the traditional database models. And I'll play this small snippet. This is the result of the transformed state. So in this state, this is one of the AI-driven budget model, which is working for an organization where AI has created the first budget model using the real-time connections to ERP systems. What we're doing here is we are feeding the live actuals and budgets or forecast into our AI model, and we are giving the power of external user to pretty much summarize what they're seeing on the screen as well as ask questions on their data set real time. This is a change what we are bringing as part of the AI semantic layer to showcase that you don't need 5 days of an effort to bring the data from your ERP systems or HR systems. You can now real-time talk to your data sets, including actuals and budget and forecast. So moving on from your budgeting and forecasting slides, I think the most important part here is now, I think we all use generative AI in one way or the other, including GPT Copilot. But one of the biggest challenges is how do we use the generative AI in your text or in your data space? So I think the biggest problem AI semantic layer or the generative AI we are looking to solve with almost every one of you is how do you delve deeper within your database and within your data sets across all those staggered applications. So here, this is a perfect example of an auditor sitting there and trying to delve deeper into the department's spend on the travel and expenses. The biggest challenge used to be, I think I was working with one of the departments that used to do random checks on the credit card acquittals. So what is showing on the screen is a real-time connection to your travel and expenses. And we are doing connection on the real-time queries on the data sets on most of the travel expenditure. We don't have to do any more random checks. You can go through millions of transactions within a matter of milliseconds. You can visualize, and then you can also see how these transactions are compliant to your PGT Act or your expense policies. And then comes the beauty of it, that you can actually then build the reports on top of it. So once you embrace the generative AI and the semantic layer of Turium, or the results we have shown across the government and across the public sector and across the enterprises in Australia and globally are 90% improvement in treasury activities and improved forecast accuracy on 85%. And that is because of only one reason, that now we can crunch through millions and billions of rows within fraction of milliseconds. And the last one is probably the most important one, which is probably the biggest kind of use case for us, is to go through transactions for fraud and risk monitoring. One of the biggest use case of generative AI for us to train, and we are mostly proud and thanks to our team to do this, is that the generative AI of our sovereign AI is now solving problems on most importantly in our productivity gains, where we are processing documents more accurate than even the world's best AI companies or technology companies. This is something to be proud about, and we are definitely sitting on top when it comes to document processing, including invoices, including purchase orders and contracts in organization. AI is not just an IT project. It's an enterprise initiative. There was a time when AI or technology itself used to be, I'm just waiting for someone to fix my system report so that I can actually work on my Excel reports. So this initiative is for all of us to understand how the generative AI works, to understand the layer, how the AI will transform our day-to-day analytics in an organization, right from getting the results from your ERP systems, from your CRM systems, from your human resource systems, to get their insights. And the most important thing is that AI is your new friend. Embrace it. And the reason I'm saying that, I was talking to one of the guys, and I'm sure somebody else has given an example, that in the age of GPT or in the age of AI, how do we differentiate? If everyone's using AI, how do we differentiate? And from a technical perspective, I always say that use better fine-tuning models or use better prompt engineering. And that is no difference for you guys now. I think we reached to the place that if you want to win and if you want your organization to succeed, the biggest change you're going to have to bring is to understand that prompt engineering and fine-tuning. Fine-tuning is something we can help, but prompt engineering is something which you guys have to master. Are there any questions from anyone?
Thank you very much, Dan, for your great insight. I can see one question here. What is the current thinking around risk management or training AI to identify, track, and report in biases?
I think the human in the loop is probably one of the best strategy, and continuously monitoring and governing your AI models is going to be one of the biggest kind of help when it comes to risk monitoring or governance as compared to just blindfoldedly using AI models. And that has been quite a big challenge for an organization to come and start that journey, but that journey needs to start as soon as possible. Yeah.
And I do have a question I would like to ask myself. You discussed the importance of leveraging AI to enhance decision-making in finance. Can you provide some examples where generative AI has successfully predicted trends or prevented risks in financial operations?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest support, what we have seen in decision support, is that sometimes we have a lot of biases when we make decisions, including procurement, including some of the statutory reporting, or including internal staff reporting. I think one of the biggest strengths what we have seen practical applying that AI into the world was that the AI actually brings the hardcore reality in front of you. And we have seen quite a number of times when we compare the human decisions now with AI decision or AI supported decisions, that AI actually gives you a lot of insights what the act you have to follow, including AASB standards, including PGP Act or any internal organization acts. I think that has changed the way we make decisions already in our organizations, and that has to be a very big factor when it comes to financial operation decisions as well.
Thank you. And the next question is, how does AI analyze the information behind the data, especially when the reasons for variances can be complex?
There are at least 3 or 4 ways we feed AI a lot of more information than we know how much AI knows. I think traditional RAG models and now fine-tuning models and supporting with a lot of insights when you do the prompt engineering yourself is one of the best ways to help organizations and individuals to automate and also help with those scenarios.
And the next question is, what's real example of applications government entity use AI for finance functions?
Can you repeat that, please?
What is a real example of applications government entity use AI for finance functions?
Definitely Turium. I think we have been, we are probably part of 30 plus organizations in federal government and across Australia, but most of the AI functions will be part of Microsoft Excel and part of your database queries as part of the first kind of initiative here.
And one last question, which is a silly question, but I don't think questions should be silly. In the travel expense analysis example, how did you set it up so that it knew what policy to check for compliance? How did it know to look for the right policy?
So I think this is a really good question actually, because one thing we have done well is that we have built these digital twins for organizations, and we have built digital twins for each role. And what does that mean? That when an organization starts their AI journey, they're not going to use just a standard generative AI model. We train that model. We train and we feed a lot and lots of information into that model, including some of the legislative documents, including some of the documents provided by Department of Finance and PGP Act, and then of course the expense and travel policy of an organization. And then we also followed, in last few years, we also followed some international standards, which I think you guys probably should know, because that was not part of the initial reports and requirements from any of our federal government clients. Modern slavery requirements is part of one of the things we've fed into the system. There was a requirement from one of our clients who were reporting, and they had businesses in different parts of the country, and they were dealing with Nike, and Nike had modern slavery issues in Thailand. So that couldn't have been done without feeding into that information into AI. I think no way they could have reported that without having that fine-tuned and RAG-based model to report that as a breach on their modern slavery statements. Same goes for travel. You cannot comprehend the fact that no human can go through number of travel trips, number of expenses recorded against those travel trips as well. Yeah, so I think that helps not just to look at the policy documents, but also look at the external factors attached to feed that information to find if there is any fraud or if there is any miscompliance. Yeah.
I definitely lied, because there are lots more questions popping up.
I think he's got a question as well. Yeah.
Has AI produced a set of financial statements in accordance with Australian accounting standards?
Dream project. I think almost 10 years back I was sitting in Department of Treasury, and there was one project who someone started internally. Let's do financial statements in ERP system. bring it back from an Excel spreadsheet. Did go really well. And I'm not committing that we can build financial statements today, but I'm definitely telling you guys that you guys will see very shortly and very soon in one of our next presentations. And we are very close to embed Excel in AI in such a way that your work will be at least 5% as compared to 95% you guys are doing in building your financial statements. And best part was the automated commentary around those financial statements. That thing we have achieved. We have achieved a commentary done by AI, including your internal forecast and actual numbers already. And that has been better as compared to every time we look at human-generated commentary and AI-generated commentary. Of course, the human in the loop for workflow approvals to make sure that end of the day humans have to take that accountability is always going to be part, but I think the first instant of generating that insights from financial statements is done. But we are planning and we are working hard with a lot of vendors, with a lot of internal departments, and we are hoping that very soon we'll showcase fully autonomous financial statements for the departments. It's a dream.
Another question is about Dyna AI. What's semantic layer and how it helps, and also how data is securely stored in Dyna AI platform?
Yeah, we are dataless. Just letting you guys know, nobody, I think my team didn't like that word, but it's almost like we are serverless, we are dataless. We are using AI to run on schema, to run on metadata. We don't want to get your data in our systems. And that is as simple as it is. That is the reason this semantic layer is going to be the future. So mark my words, in next couple of years you will hear a lot about semantic layer. Tech world outside in Silicon Valley already knows about this semantic layer. We call it metadata layer or analytical layer. You actually don't have to have the data in your hands. You just play with the schemas and the metadata on top of your data sets. What does that mean in practical life? That the AI learns a lot from metadata. AI learns a lot from that schema as part of what's sitting in your purchase orders as just reading the column headings. And that goes deeper and deeper when we tag the data sets with AI or with human in the loop.
Could AI get a point where it does the hard work of integrating the 85 data systems we have?
I think before even AI, we have the foundation of our Turium is building the integration platform. And I think there's quite a number of departments and public sector enterprises are already utilizing that to integrate their entire ecosystem using some of our integration layers. But what happens even for us as an AI company, even now, the biggest project we are doing is how do we automate that interfaces. So we have a large team who build interfaces every day with SAP, with Tech1, with SAP Concur, with Orion, and there's tons of other applications. I think our team has given that we have 500 plus connectors. But we are trying to automate that, and we are trying to even go beyond the human sitting there and trying to match the schemas on SAP to SAP Concur or Tech1 in a way that you just press the button and it automatically connects. Of course, human is always in the loop, but that reduces the whole organization data fragmentation issue, which I showed before, that the disparate systems is now going to be a thing of a past, because this virtual data store which help you to run your reports directly through this semantic layer. What does that mean? That you don't need to sit down and build ETLs or hire developers to connect your new application which someone just decided to buy and has created a different data silo.
Given a lot of data in ERP systems can be very non-standard or varied with incorrect descriptions or human error, What are the challenges in using AI to interpret this data with a real accuracy and in a way that avoids compound errors?
I think the biggest challenge to answer that question, what we have faced, that, and I think everybody should know this. This is really important. We've all gone through from on-prem to cloud, so everyone's happy. But the biggest challenge is now you don't have the key when the change will happen. You will get one email from your vendor, we are going to upgrade our API V1 to V1.4. We are going from 23A to 23B. We are going from S4HANA public to private. There will be like tons of changes. And there is no way any organization will sustain this complex discrepancies on, and also the enormous and huge effort goes into making sure those systems are still connected and they work when you come on Monday morning. So AI is probably the only solution. That's why we've been spending tons. It's not fancy, but we've been spending and investing tons of hours and dollars into it to build that autonomous connectivity between those applications through semantic layer. So that is probably one of the really interesting questions in who's actually thinking very practically when it comes to use case using AI on the disparate systems.
Government has large numbers of bespoke legacy systems. Will we need to transition from this to transition to AI, or will we be able to integrate data from them?
I guess that I went really quickly with my slides, but one of the things which I really wanted to share is probably that question is really good for us again, is that when you transition from one ERP to the other ERP, I have met some CFOs and CIOs, and I'm probably going to say it. Some of them are so dumb, they will be like, Dan, I don't want more than 3 years of data. What I would do that with this data? And I'm looking at the faces, I was like, are you sure? We are living in an AI world, data is everything. You are getting rid, and these are not small organizations. They are bigger departments. They're making decisions that we are going to this new fancy ERP system or cloud system, and we don't need this. We don't need more than 3 years or 5 years of data. That needs to change. And I am probably the strongest advocate for all of you guys. That data is gold. Without that data, no machine learning will build your budgets, what I showed you. No machine learning or AI will help you with fraud. Because AI needs data. It's hungry. More data we feed into, the more accurate answers it will give. So when you're going into new interface or new ERP system, or you're changing to any new applications, make sure you preserve that data. And that's why the semantic layer comes back to the picture again, that you can build it in such a way that now we have given that power that you just new application from somebody's moving from SAP ECC through Tech One, you just plug that ERP into this semantic layer. What's going to happen? Whatever you had in SAP ECC 6 will always going to be there for you guys at least for 100 years or 150 years. I don't know how the AWS and Microsoft storage works. But that is probably the best part of storing the data or having the semantic layer.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much for today's session. This is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.